With Liquor Barn, you can shop your favorite bourbon, that perfect bottle of wine, or discover something new. To place an order for pickup or delivery, download the Liquor Barn app, visit liquorbarn.com, or call your nearest Liquor Barn location. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our email list for all the latest news on products, promotions, and events. Liquor Barn, where Kentuckians go to celebrate life. Cheers!
Welcome to the Bourbon Life Podcast, your source for all things bourbon. Join your hosts, Mark and Matt, as they drink and review bourbons, share news about upcoming events, interview the who's who in the bourbon world, and, most importantly, bring you along for the fun of living the bourbon life. Now, here's your hosts, Mark and Matt.
All right, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me live tonight in the Bourbon Life Studios, the remnants of the Bourbon Life crew. I got Matt and Christi with me. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're feeling a little lonely. What happened? We scared them all off.
I guess so, Matt. What's going on here?
I know the not so round table here looks even larger without all of us around it.
It's kind of crazy.
You're like a country mile away on the other end.
I know. And this table's it's a big table, right? But I love it. You know, I love it. But yeah, man, it's like we planned this about a month ago. And unfortunately, one crew member is sick. One crew member has a sick child. And one crew member got called in at the last minute on emergency work, IT.
And it all started with us telling Chad that he was uninvited. And it just went downhill from there.
So maybe it's our fault. Maybe by doing that.
Chad took it literally.
Yeah, he was like, I'm just going to
uninvited himself.
I'm going to tell everybody else to not show up because I was uninvited.
Maybe Chad is recording a podcast.
That's
Philip,
the bearded bourbon line, and they cut me out, right?
I bet you that's what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what?
We don't have beards.
It would not surprise me. I know I'm clean shaven. Look at that. No stubble today. Nothing. All dressed up. Man, aren't you guys impressed?
All dressed up and nowhere to go.
And nowhere to go. My basement, my office. That was it. Yeah.
But it isn't a robe like a standard attire for this show.
We are going to do a robe episode.
We are.
There's no doubt about it. We're going to have to do that. So how are you guys doing today?
We are hanging in there. We got alcohol.
I know. It's always the bright part of my Monday evenings is the fact that I know I'm going to get to sit and drink with friends. So it's always good. Matt, how are you doing, man?
Mark, I'm doing really good. Nice. We had a little snap of the weather change here. Mm-hmm. Some warm weather in central Kentucky. It really smells and looks like springtime finally. It does.
The crocuses, the daffodils.
Absolutely.
Everything has bloomed like crazy. Like come up and because it got up to it was almost 90 degrees on my car thermometer or temperature gauge on Saturday.
Well, even today it said it was 78, but it was so humid it felt like it was 88.
Yeah, just crazy. So we're going to cool back down again because it is Kentucky, right? So you never know what you're going to get.
And then we're doing our camping trip.
Camping trip?
Yeah, the camping trip that we're going to be doing in Bardstown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So by the time this comes out, it'll be over with. But yes, we were joking earlier about camping out at Heaven Hill and waiting for the 18-year-old Elijah Craig because last Monday night after we recorded, or was it Monday night?
Yes, it was Monday night. Stacey and I have had this really bad habit lately that we're doing Monday nights.
That's right. It was Monday night. That's right. Because we recorded.
Because we did Tuesday
night. Yeah. So we recorded. Christi and I. This is like the Angel Share podcast extended. We added Matt to it.
I know.
So last week it was you and me, and now we got Matt for this week with the Bourbon Life. But yeah. So after that show, I in my head I just thought, you know what? I'm going to go down to Bardstown and camp out for that 17-year-old Heaven Hill.
I inspired you to be sporadic.
You did. Fortunately, my wife was smart enough to convince me not to do that since we drank about, I don't know how many different things we drank during your show.
Yeah, FYI, I also informed Mark's wife that I would have gone with him.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. So I would have had a partner in crime had we done it. But no, I will not be going camping to Heaven Hill tonight. For that Elijah Craig 18-year-old. Maybe one of these days I'll do that. But, you know, the thing is, they don't open until 11 o'clock, and that's kind of tough to go down and hang out that long. Now, I did it for the 17-year-old, the Bottled and Bond that they put out last last fall.
Just pack a breakfast, pack some snacks, bring your work.
Bring my work computer. That's right, because I work from home. It doesn't matter where I am as long as I have a
work from home
computer.
It's like a little iPad.
Work from Liquor Barn.
No, Matt. If any of my employees or co-employees are listening to this, just co-workers, just disregard what Matt just said. Anyway, guys, let's talk about what we got poured up here. We got tonight's going to be kind of a special night because it ended up we had nothing planned, but it's kind of turned into a rye type of night. It looks like. So, Christi, you brought a whole smorgasbord of stuff that we had to kind of whittle down.
I know.
And we may drink after the show though. But what the first one you got here that we got poured up? What you got?
Okay, so I was inspired because I turned you into a Peerless fan.
You did.
When you were adamantly not going to buy Peerless.
That's right.
So the last time I brought you a Peerless bourbon single barrel. So today I brought you a Peerless rye single barrel. This one, I'm trying to remember when it came out. It was in 2021. So it wasn't that long ago, but it's called Whiskey Soaked Cherries.
Nice.
And they always do their little tasting notes on it. So according to this, it has natural notes of cherry bitters, charred oak, and toasted brown sugar. And it's coming in at 108.3 proof.
Nice. So now, do we know anything in terms of, is this a 95.5? What is their, do you know what their ryes are or any idea? I don't.
Probably is.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know. Any idea what the age on it is by chance?
Let me check.
Non-age stated maybe.
I'm not seeing an age.
Didn't they first come out with everything around like 3 years?
Matt,
is that right?
Honestly, I don't know, Matt, because I was just like, it's $100 a bottle. Nope, I'm not going to buy it. I mean, I know it's kind of silly to say that, but I just didn't. I didn't pay. I shouldn't say I didn't pay attention to it. It was just I didn't seek out their products, so I didn't really spend time trying to know what all they had out, and what the age statements were.
Which is really a shame, in my opinion, because
I
feel like
Matt.
Everything I've had from Peerless,
I agree,
is actually really good.
It is really good.
What Christi has, and what I'm smelling on the nose on this one, I only had the bourbon last time, the raspberry or whatever donut.
Oh, it was the blueberry glazed donut.
Yes, that was delicious. Absolutely delicious. I have to admit, when I'm wrong, I'm going to tell you I'm wrong. So, so far you've proven me wrong. And based on the nose on this one, this is pretty nice. Matt, what do you pick up on it, man?
I agree. I think the nose on this is really pleasant. There's definitely that cherry in there. I like whatever yeast strain they're using. It's got like this really nice fruity floral nose to it and just smells like good and yeasty. It's just got like a good amount of body to the nose on it with the yeast as well. And then I pick up some chocolate in there too.
Ooh.
It's got like a mocha chocolate aroma.
Flavor. Yeah. What about you, Christi? What do you get?
I mean, when I first put my nose to it, I'm immediately thinking of, those cherries you get in your jar, your cocktail cherries, the good ones.
Yeah, the Luxardos.
Yeah, something like that. But I don't know. It does have a deeper note on the nose.
But I'm picking up now, Matt, and it could be the power of suggestion, is that mocha. I do see where you can pick that up.
See that.
So, yeah,
I can see that.
But that's
it's a heavier note in the back.
Yeah, digging down deep to pick that up. But yeah, the cherries obviously come through.
And those chocolate smoky notes, they're pretty common in Peerless' single barrels.
Are they really? Huh. Matt, what are you doing over there, man? He's
readjusting
He's
here.
abusing his microphone, man. It's like
Hardly.
Take it easy there, man. That's high quality material over there you're messing with, Matt. Take it easy on that. But yeah, so this is good. So
something else off the nose too. I'm just trying to identify it.
And Caleb Kilburn is their master distiller, right? And he's super young.
He is very young.
Yeah.
And then John Waddell is over there. He's their single barrel curlator.
Okay.
So he actually is one of those people who picks out these types of barrels and then also, helps with barrel picks. He also does some distilling there.
Matt's moving everything around. I'm sorry. I just keep hearing all these
situating
rumbles
here.
and thumps. And if anybody, podcast listeners, it's just Matt adjusting his microphone.
I get fidgety, all right?
He does.
There's kind of like a cookie thing going on. So, the shortbread cookies on the nose?
Okay.
I get a little bit of that on there.
I can see that, like those Keebler shortbread. Yeah, like the Sandies.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm
The
getting like
Sandies.
that crumbly type note in the back.
Very nice. Yeah. So you guys are killing it, man. I'm just gonna sit here and say vanilla and caramel. No, just cherries.
Smooth.
It's very smooth. I get a little maple syrupy. No, I do get like a little burnt sugar type of aroma off of it as well.
So I was talking to a friend last night, and he was making fun of Instagrammers who talk about whiskey. And there's one particular person he's picking on right now. I won't say the name, but the person has the same format and the same tone that he uses, the same rhythm for every one of his things. It's really brief. Usually gets it wrong what he's saying too. He'll like say like things that are like completely wrong on bourbon laws.
Yeah.
But apparently this person always ends with, I like it, buy it. But he doesn't say why.
That's
Ever.
just it.
It's like, I like it, buy it. It's like, well, great. Why do you like it?
Yeah. I need a little more than that if I'm going to pop. And this is probably $100 bottle, right?
It's $125.
Oh, it's a single barrel. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, going to be a little bit more pricey there. So yeah, I mean, I can understand.
But that's not something you're going to knock back on a week. I mean,
right. No, right.
It's a nice piece to have on your bourbon shelf and pull out once in a while when you want something special.
Yeah, and you share it with your
co-hosts,
the remnants of your bourbon.
Yeah, whoever shows up to the podcast.
whoever we haven't banished.
I was like, come on. I knew Chad wasn't going to be here. I mean, he's sick. Poor guy. You know, I feel bad for him. But then Philip's like, oh, my kid's sick. I'm like, okay, Philip, no problem. And then Stacey, like 30 minutes before, she's like, oh, can't be there. I'm like, are you serious? Come on, man.
I thought she was joking at first too.
I did too. I thought it was joking. I was like, nope, this isn't a joke.
Because she threatened not to come before.
This is serious. Yeah. So see, Chad, I'm going to go back and just blame Chad for all of this.
Yeah. Domino effect.
For everything that's happened to us tonight. So guys, what's going on in the world of whiskey? Anything that's exciting to you guys, or anything that's going on that you've that's come across your desk?
So here,
Matt has something.
I got something, and this was a leftover from our last Flights of the Round.
Oh, okay.
Where we talked about things we want to see and things we don't want to see.
Okay.
I had somebody get in contact with me and shared their sentiment of things they don't want to see.
Yeah.
And that is
podcasters
probably
with Instagram.
Yeah, more than likely. But celebrities that have no business putting their name on a bottle.
Wow.
Putting their name on a bottle.
Man.
Especially when they have no input on that bottle.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of that.
That's a good point. Should we talk about that? Should we tread lightly? No, I'm just kidding, man. We can talk about that.
I'm not afraid.
I think it's a good point, you know, because so here's the thing, right? We had Rob Dietrich on the show with Blackened Whiskey, right?
Correct.
So that's Metallica's deal. Mm-hmm. And Metallica, I mean, yeah, they're fans of their whiskey. They're involved, but I mean, that was Dave Pickerel who started that with them. And then after Dave passed, Rob Dietrich, who was at Stranahan's for 10 years or more, and really developed their whole program out there, Rob took over for Dave. So initially I was kind of like, Blackened Whiskey, and you're playing Metallica music like really loud and stuff. And I'm like, okay. But I will tell you, after we've had 3 Chord, who's a sponsor of our show, which we appreciate them.
With Neil Girardo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, they've got their what's it called? Petrolysis, perfectly tuned something. They've got their system where they play sound waves, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And we discussed that because initially I was just like, this is hokey, whatever.
Right. Copper and King says it too.
But there's a lot of science behind it. So so the Metallica thing to me was like, initially I was kind of like, I don't know, but we had Raw on the show. We tasted the whiskey. We tasted the Blackened. We had a single barrel. Was it a single barrel or a barrel strength or something? I can't remember what all we had.
Oh, we had just the regular Blackened, and we had the Willet.
I had the black. Yeah, it was a good
one.
Oh,
that's right. That Willet.
It was really
also
tasty.
the Cask strength.
And the Cask strength.
Ironically, I had Black and Willet at Peerless.
Did you really?
I walked in the door, and John Waddell told me to come back to the lab.
Yeah.
And he pulls out the bottle.
Nice. So I was, I'm cool with that, because it's not listed as Metallica whiskey. It's Blackened whiskey. And Metallica's in the background. But all right. I'm thinking sorry, I keep hearing static, guys. I was like, why is my phone making noises? Like Bradshaw Bourbon. Now we had one of their guys on the show before. But what I've tasted from them, I've actually enjoyed it because it's Green River stuff, right? I have a bottle of the rye. I haven't opened it, so I don't know how it tastes, but I do like the bourbon. But yes, I wonder about that. I don't know what Terry's level of involvement is with his bourbon. So I don't know, guys. What do you all think? I'm sitting here talking. You guys tell me what your thoughts are. Matt, you brought it up, man.
Here, I'm looking at you, Charles Woodson.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Okay.
Well, see, my thing is I don't like when there's a little bit of inaccuracy that comes across where it's for marketing purposes.
Yeah.
So they'll market something and say like, oh, it's so-and-so's whiskey without naming names. And, well, did that person have any input? Did they even taste it? Like, did they help with the blending? No, they did not.
Right.
So, no, it's not their whiskey.
Right.
They, might have their name somewhere there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's what bothers me is when the marketing comes across where your audience genuinely believes that.
Yeah, I could see that. And that makes sense. I mean, there's got to be some truthfulness to it. I will tell you somebody else that I was really kind of hesitant about was, Brad Paisley has the American Highway Reserve that came out. So it's whiskey it's from Bardstown Bourbon. So it's good whiskey. There's no doubt about it. It goes on a tour bus and it travels around on his tour with him. Yeah, it's kind of, again, one of those kind of things you're like, oh, really? I've never had it before, so I don't know how it tastes. I can't tell you, but I'm a big fan of Bardstown Bourbon. No doubt about it.
He's doing the old Jefferson Ocean with it.
There you go. It's right. It's Jefferson's Ocean, but on the tour bus. And he was on a show, Dad's Drinking Bourbon, and Brad knows his shit. I was like, I listened to the whole show, and I was like, okay, Brad Paisley knows a lot about bourbon, not just bourbon today, but bourbon from the past, and just Brad knows a lot about bourbon. I was kind of changed my tune because I was initially like, oh, really? Seriously? And then after listening to the show, I'm like, okay, Brad seems pretty involved with what's going on with that whole process. And also seems to be very knowledgeable about just the production and the distillation and the blending and everything else that goes into creating a bourbon. So,
and there's so many brands out there too that actually belong to like celebrity musicians.
Right.
Just musicians in general.
Yeah.
It's insane, the number.
Oh yeah.
But as long as for me, it's always about, how open are you about what's really going on behind the scenes.
Right.
And what level that person actually, has involvement on. So that's always a huge thing for me. But then there's some, musicians out there who actually, do have some distilling background. I'm going to be interviewing a country music singer soon, Tyler Wood. Okay. And he has his own line. He's like a 5th or 6th generation moonshiner.
Oh, okay.
So it's in his family.
Right. So he knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And then you got brands like, what's that brown sugar bourbon? Have you guys?
I've never tasted it. I've seen people use it.
Is it Jamie Foxx?
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you guys, Matt, do you know anything about it?
I know what you're talking about.
It's bourbon. They put brown sugar in it. So they still call it brown, I think they call it brown sugar bourbon.
Yeah, even though it's not a bourbon anymore.
Even though it's not a bourbon because they've added brown sugar to it. But I'm pretty sure it's called brown sugar bourbon.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, people abbreviate BSB on
BSB, right. And I think it's Jamie Foxx, right?
Okay.
I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, so again, there's another celebrity. But
like Dan Aykroyd, he has his vodka brand.
Oh, that's the skull head or whatever, the crystal skull or whatever.
Yeah.
But now, Matt, we had Ian and
I was going to say we had Paul and Ian on the show.
We had Pat and Ian on the show.
Yeah. And they legitimately are doing, Brothers Bonded. It was like done
I've been hearing good things about that.
Them.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, they sound like they're heavily involved in that.
Holy crap.
They are it.
Yeah.
It's them.
It's them.
They did the side of the distilling. They did all of the blending, all the marketing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
everything with it.
Again,
I can respect that.
That was one of the brands. Initially, I was like, okay. And I'm like, we're going to have them on the show. They got one expression. I'm like, okay, all right, we'll do this, but I'm not expecting much at all. Mm-hmm. And then in the conversation, I mean, I think Matt and I both were just, afterwards, both just really, really shocked. I mean, just absolutely shocked about how involved they both were in that process, and how, especially, and I don't want to say especially Ian, but Ian was much more vocal. I mean, you could just tell Ian he was just like all about it and like just super pumped up and just, he was, crazy. And I think maybe in another couple of months, they're putting out another batch of that, and they might possibly be scheduled to be guests back on the podcast.
Oh, nice.
Again. Yeah.
Maybe I'll actually get to taste it.
Maybe. Yeah. We could work that out. I'm sure we could do that. I'd love to do a live with them. Just have them come to Lexington and hang out with us.
Yeah.
Ian's traveling the country on his, remember he talked about renovating the RV and having the RV. Yeah. So, or they bought the RV. So yeah. So he's traveling the country now on an RV. So I'm like, come to Kentucky, man. Let's record. All right. So let's go back to this, this Peerless. What do you guys get in terms of the palate and the finish on this?
It was real spicy at first.
Yeah.
A lot of spice right up front, but it's mellowed out after a sip or two. I'm picking up more of the chocolate, I think, is coming through on the palate. Graham cracker, baking spices as well.
Okay.
It's decently long finish. I think it could maybe coat the mouth a little better.
Yeah.
It's like not super oily, I don't feel.
Yeah. I get kind of a tannic effect on it, man. It kind of dries my mouth out a little bit. I don't know if it's just me. You guys, nobody else having that?
See, for me, it's actually like more heavy.
Is it? Okay.
I'm getting a little more viscous like than you guys are getting.
Interesting.
It might just be opening up more in my glass.
No, that's fine. So what are you getting on it, Christi?
Let me go back to the palate here. I just been busy sipping and not really paying attention.
That's quite yeah. We're just talking. Matt and I are just rambling on. Christi's like in her own world over there drinking.
I'm just happy.
That's fine. We're happy to have you here. At least you showed up.
I did show up.
Yeah.
No, there is a little bit, and this is probably coming in from the rye, a little bit of like a candied lemon peel up front on the palate.
Okay.
Do you get that? Like that little bit of astringency, that little, it's not really bitter, but
okay.
I'm getting that up front. It's very bright.
Yeah. Interesting. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I could see like
okay.
kind of like maybe even like grapefruit.
Yeah.
Like
it's some sort of like citrus like that.
Yeah, like sweet, bitter, kind of play with it. But Christi, I think you're right. As it's sitting, like that last sip, it is coating the tongue a little bit more viscous. Where I think I might have called that one quite wrong at first. It's actually got a nice coating on the tongue. I'm still kind of feeling it nice and oily.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And again, I mean, I'm a fan. It was just a little tannic on the finish to me. Nothing dreadful. Nothing that makes me like, oh, I don't like this.
Let a little bit of it sit and then come back to it.
I can't let it sit because I drink it all.
Oh, we'll have to give you more.
No, I'm not going to drink more because we got at least two more to drink for the show, and then probably going to crack something else after the show, just as a post show kind of
a little hurrah,
little hangout or whatever. So, guys, we are at the end of round one here. So let's get his final thoughts on this Peerless, the single barrel rye. What do you think?
I like it. I think flavor wise, it tastes really great. It's complex. I really enjoyed the nose with it. I think the one downside would just be the sticker price.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I hate to go into that, but
no, I mean, that's
$25 is a fair bit to ask, I think.
Yep. I agree. Christi, what do you think in terms of everything overall?
I mean, obviously I bought it, so I like it, but
right.
No, it still has, those characteristics that they're describing there with the, the cherry notes, but It's not overly cherry. I think we got that more in the nose in the beginning, but now that I'm actually drinking it more, I don't quite get that as much in the palate.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did not pick up that cherry on the palate as much as it did on the nose.
But I always enjoy that that nice warmth. Like you definitely get that Kentucky hug with all of their products.
Yeah. And it's a good product, but I agree, Matt. I mean, the 125, and that's, like I said, Christi, we've talked about it before. That was my sticking point.
No, that's absolutely understandable.
With Peerless was the fact that, just the pricing on it.
And that's when you need to find that, if you're going to do one of those single barrels, if you're going to make that investment, find one that's just so unique to you that like, this is going to be my winter whiskey.
Right.
You know, this is my warm robe whiskey.
That's right. When I'm sitting around in my robe in front of the fire, and hey, speaking of single barrel, I should tell everybody that the Bourbon Life Frey Ranch single barrel is now available. Well, by now, let's see, this will come out Friday. So yes, I will have posts on our Instagram and Facebook about how people can purchase that. The great thing about this deal is, unlike our first barrel pick, which we are very appreciative to have the opportunity to do, this one will be available pretty much anywhere across the country that people can purchase it and have it shipped to them wherever they may be. So that's going to be a cool thing. So we're really excited about working with Frey Ranch and working with Prov up in DC to get some Frey Ranch out to people, because it's not distributed across the country, you know, so it's hard for people to find. And I'm pretty sure, I think we picked a winner on this. Well, Matt, I should say you and Philip picked a winner.
They were all good choices
on this one, because I was overridden on the decision on that one, but it was definitely a good choice. So, all right, guys. So let's take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with the remnants of the Bourbon Life Crew in just a minute. Spirits of French Lick crafts their spirits using only the finest agricultural product that has defined character, following their motto, respect the grain. They lead the way in representing the quality of the Hoosier artisan distilling process while paying tribute to its inseparable past. By implementing best practices from those early times, combined with modern touches, Spirits of French Lick has created a truly unique place in the industry. Spirits of French Lick products are distributed throughout Indiana, Kentucky, and Missouri, and can also be purchased online through Sealbox at sealbox.com. Visit spiritsoffrenchlick.com to learn more information, and make sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
The Stave Restaurant is a bourbon lover's paradise right here in the heart of bourbon country. Located at 5711 McCracken Pike in Millville, Kentucky, between Castle and Key and Woodford Reserve, Chef Kyle Klatka prepares amazing food each day that features an elevated Kentucky-inspired cuisine. With a full-service bar, great bourbon flights, and signature cocktails, the Stave is the perfect place to catch up with friends after a fun-filled day of touring the local distilleries. Be sure to check them out online at thestavekentucky.com or at Instagram and Facebook at The Stave Kentucky.
All right, everybody, welcome back for round session, period, act, scene, whatever you want to call it, number 2 of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me, as always, live in the, well, actually not as always, we've got the Ragtag Bourbon Life Crew hanging out tonight, live in the Bourbon Life Studios. We've got Christi. Hey, Christi.
Hi.
We've got Matt.
Hey, Mark, this feels all too familiar.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? And lo and behold, we got Stacey.
Hey.
Congratulations, you won a brand new car.
I'll take it. As long as it's not a smart car.
Yeah, so Stacey was not here for a smart car. As you probably realized, Stacey was not here for round 1.
I was not.
But Stacey is here for round 2.
I sure am.
There's an explanation for that.
There is an explanation. It has to do with the bottle on the table.
Yeah, I'm back solely for what's on the table.
That's right. Stacey came back for this pour. We'll go ahead and talk about what we have poured up. This is the 2022 release, Michter's Barrel Strength Rye. Absolutely love this bottle. I don't know what it's non-age stated. This one's 109.2 proof. The information sheet they sent out with these said the average, because these are all single barrels, they said the average proof was like 111. So this one's just a little bit lower than what the average proof strength was. But this is their Barrel Strength Rye, which I'm always a big fan of.
Same.
Yeah. So what's everybody picking up? Who wants to jump? Stacey.
Oh.
What you picking up on that nose over there?
What's behind door number 2?
That's right. What would you rather have, the Michter's Barrel Strength or what's behind closet door number 2?
You know, I've seen what's behind closet door number 2. There's a lot of blands in there. I'm just kidding. We'll save that for Chad when he comes back.
Sorry, we missed Chad.
Sorry, Chad.
Yeah.
What am I picking up on the nose? Getting a subtle, like, berry to it. Like
Okay.
Not sure if that's a strawberry, but not like you're eating a strawberry, but like I don't know how to explain it, but I'm getting a hint of berry in there.
Okay. Matt, what about you, man? What are you getting?
To me, it's really herbal. I pick up dill. I pick up mint. I'm getting there's like a touch of a burn on the nose too.
It sounds really familiar from
Doesn't it?
someplace. But anyway, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry. Continue.
Touch of alcohol on the nose, but I'm also picking up like some lime zest.
Oh, okay.
There's like some zesty citrus in there as well, and a little bit of
Now, is that fresh limes or like the limes that I just had upstairs in the kitchen that were rock hard that have been there for a couple weeks?
Well, it's more about the zest than the lime.
The zest than the actual lime. Okay. All right. I'm just making sure.
A zesty smell. And there's a little bit of vanilla. I think some of the corn notes come across in this as well. Like a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of oak.
Yeah.
Coming through, a little bit of barrel notes.
And that's what, in that, I don't know if it was in the release or just some information about Michters that I was reading the other day, but their cooperage, they take a lot of pride in obviously in their barrels and what they do. So I'm assuming that part of that is, coming through into the whiskey. So that's probably what you're picking up. And I can't remember, I don't know what the mash bill is on this one. I looked, I couldn't find it. And I know when we had Dan on the show, he didn't disclose any mash bills to us whatsoever. And we didn't drink this on the show with him. But I have no idea. I don't know if it's a 95.5. I don't know if it's a Pennsylvania type of.
I would think just solely being the Pennsylvania roots that it's probably going to err a little bit more on the side of like 70 to 80, somewhere in the 75, maybe 85.
Yeah. So you're still going to pick up some of that corn, probably. So not a 95.5, which I don't know for sure. I don't know. Stacey?
I personally don't know. What
Christi?
about you, fellow Pennsylvanian?
Yeah, what are you picking up on that one?
Okay. So again,
in your robe of power. I love the robe.
I know. I have my own robe of power today, and you chickened out.
I know. We're going to do that, but when we have
your wife even brought it out for you.
When we have everybody on the show, we're going to have everybody's going to be here, and we're going to do robes. And
can we have like the AC blasting?
Yeah,
at night?
we can. I'll pump up the AC. Matt, sorry, man.
Yeah, sorry, Christy. Sorry, Matt. You guys can go sit by the fire.
I'll have to bring my flannel pajamas.
There you go. That'll work.
So, like Matt was saying, I do definitely get those herbal notes. So a little bit of pine. On the end, I get more of like this kind of almost like a toasty note, but it's almost more towards pastry, like baked pie dough or like baked croissant or rolls, something like that.
Okay.
But not really yeasty, just that like that flakiness that you would get from dough. So I think that's kind of where Stacey is getting that berry note, because it smells a little bit like that too.
Interesting. Nice combination of flavors. There's nothing that I can add. That's why I love going last. This is so nice. Yeah.
You're like ditto.
You guys, ditto.
What she said.
You guys killed it. I mean, I can't add anything to that. Vanilla, caramel and vanilla. Maybe some vanilla.
Smooth.
Yeah. Smooth.
Yeah,
it's very smooth.
So smooth. Yeah.
So smooth. At 109.2 proof. This is really, really smooth.
Would you consider this Blanton smooth though?
Oh, wow.
Stacey and I said smooth on a show, and we said it as a joke, and somebody actually asked which one of us said it. They thought we were serious.
Oh, seriously?
I'm pretty sure that I said, I hate using the word smooth, but I'm going to say it. Damn it, it's smooth.
Yeah, and we said it almost like a joke, but it was also just because it was a good descriptor.
Also,
But yeah, somebody wanted to know who said that.
Wow.
Well, you can out me and be like, it was Stacey. Also, these people need to pick up
outed
on
myself.
our sarcasm, because clearly they aren't picking up on it.
There you go.
I think I blamed it on myself.
It's okay.
There are people out there, unfortunately, that's like what they love to do, right? They love to find little things.
Smooth is a tough word too when you're describing like bourbon
I agree.
or rye, because I feel it is a decent descriptor.
Yeah.
But it's just such a blanket word.
Yeah.
That's
Like coming from the food industry, I hate when people describe food as tasty.
It's so flavorful.
Like everything has taste, whether it's good or bad. Don't call it tasty.
It's tasty. It reminds me of burnt rubber and
like
sandals.
tasty can be the best thing you've ever had, or tasty can.
Yeah.
No, I never really thought of it that way, but you do have a valid point.
I
Tasty.
always hate it when people.
I don't like the
describe
word
food as
yummy.
tasty.
No, I don't like yummy.
Yeah.
I don't like yummy.
What
I
about
don't like the word
yummo?
delish.
Can I say yummo? Like
No.
Rachel Ray, yummo.
I was about to say you reminded me of Rachel Ray.
Yummo. It's this rye is yummo. All right.
We need to incorporate that in
There
the
you
next
go.
the next Bourbon Crew show and see what
Yeah,
Phil and Chad have to say about
tasting notes right now. This Michter's barrel strength rye is yummo. That's what I'm going to throw it out there on the nose at least.
It is delicious, is what it is.
So let's talk about some news and things going on. I've got some notes here that nobody ever pays attention to. And I'm not looking at you, Matt, when I'm saying that. If I'm intentionally looking away so that you don't feel the piercing, Christi, as well.
My Michter's barrel strength almost went out my nose.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Nobody. So if you look in front of you,
Don't try to guilt me on this. We're 3 seasons into our podcast, and I still haven't looked at the notes that you lay out.
Oh, I know.
So,
Next time you come down, he's going to have like a
I'm going to put a whiteboard.
teleprompter.
I'm going to put a whiteboard over there in his setup, right there in the ring light. I'm gonna
Look,
put a big-
we are like so far past the point of you preparing me well for every episode. We're like, we've been doing this for so long, and I show up unprepared every single week that it's just
That is the
the
fun
way
thing.
it's got to happen anymore. You come prepared. You do your research. You type up great notes. You always know the guests. You listen to other podcasts so that you know what people have talked about with the guest. You do all this research. I show up. I usually have wet hair. I'm straight out of the shower. It's a wonder I
At
have
least you showered, though.
At least he
It's
showered.
a wonder I have pants on most of the time. And
Yeah,
like,
he used to not like to wear pants. So.
That's why you sit by the fireplace.
Again, if you're trying to stare daggers at me over these notes, like
But Matt provides, he's the color commentary, and it never it never fails. Anytime during the show, Matt will ask a question, and the guest always stops and is like,
That's a really good
oh my
question.
God, Matt, that's such a great question. And I'm like, I've got 18, 20 questions I came up with working for the last 3 days to come
Maybe
up
you
with
should
this.
try the Matt approach.
No.
See how it works for you.
But do you have any idea how?
I do have an idea because I'm a lot like you.
Yeah, there's no
just
way.
pepper a little bit of, just get a little crazy one time.
See, my thing is like when I'm preparing, so even with Stacey and I, like we will prepare a few questions in case we need to like kind of, direct the conversation.
Sure.
Because sometimes you do have those guests where, there's like question to question to question. They're waiting for you to ask them something.
Right.
Rather than they come in, bursting with energy and they have things they want to talk about.
Sure. And we've run into that, you know, and that's, you can go back and listen to some episodes, and I'm not going to say which guests they are, but some people are just naturally better. Like Denny Potter and Jane Bowie together was insane.
It's like a powerhouse duo right there.
yeah, it was awesome. I didn't have to say anything.
It was
like
honestly
perfect. I just got to like listen to a variety show between those two, just like
between the two of them,
cracking jokes with each other, and
yes,
it was awesome.
And then sometimes you just have that organic conversation.
yes, and that's what I always hope for. But I always like to be prepared, and if I can find something that's kind of unique about the guest, it's always fun. Something that like I can't remember who was it? Oh, Danny. Right? Danny was a skateboarder.
Yeah, Danny Kahn, who was a skateboarder out of Cali.
So I kind of threw that out there. I'm like, so Danny, I heard from somewhere that you actually were a skateboarder, and you could see the reaction.
He was like, "What? Where'd you hear that from?"
Yeah. So, but it was cool because it opened up a whole conversation for us, and we had a really good time.
Those are the best.
Yeah. So it was just fun, So a prepared question turned into a really cool kind of organic conversation. So yeah, I mean, I just can't show up and just fly by the seat. I just can't do it. I just can't.
Sometimes too, there's important things we want to talk about. We want to make sure we hit on them at some point. So that's where some notes are handy. I mean, I do that sometimes on my other show, Distillers Talk. I'll put together a couple of things that I just think are really interesting.
Yeah.
So if the conversation starts to lean in that direction where I have got some way I can make a segue with that, I want to jump on that.
That makes sense. All right. Maybe I'll work on that.
No, Mark, I got to say, to your credit, you do a really great job of always filling any silence, asking great questions, making our guests feel comfortable, and steering the conversation to like a really conducive place for a great podcasting.
That's a really great point, Matt. I'm just kidding, but
No,
thank you.
it's true.
Well, I appreciate that.
I always credit you with that.
Oh, I know you do. I appreciate that very much.
So anyway, let's go back.
Let's go back and talk about the notes.
Do you have some
expertly-
notes? Do you have some notes?
Yes.
Notes.
There's information about New Riff Distillery. They're actually doing an expansion. Did you guys know that?
I did know
knew
that. You know why?
Why'd you know that? Because it's on the notes.
Wait, we have notes?
Oh, jeez.
He sent those out prior to.
Yeah,
You didn't
did
check
you not
your
get
email?
your... Yeah,
You
You
didn't
sent me
get
an
the.
email.
see what I deal with. Jeez.
It's fine. That's like the people I deal with at
And
work.
you know he has muted us on our group chat between the six of us. You know Matt's muted the whole
And that's completely fine.
He's muted the whole conversation, so he
Look at me
doesn't
like
have
that.
I have turned off the notification.
I also have
Like,
too, because otherwise my phone just goes all day long.
Yeah.
Oh,
No
man.
offense, guys. Love
No,
ya.
That's okay. I get it. That's quite all right.
I'm very busy.
Yeah, you're kind of a big deal. You're really You're a really big deal.
People know me. I'm just saying.
Anyway, so New Riff, did you know that they were expanding?
I did know that they were expanding, actually. I think I've read about that somewhere on Instagram. But
Nice.
Someone that has more information, please do.
So they are building a new rick house. It's going to be 15 minutes away from the current distillery. So it's not too far away. But obviously, we were talking before, Mark, there's not a lot of space over where New Riff is currently located unless you want to position your rick house in the liquor store.
Wait, we were talking about it before. When before?
We were having conversation before.
When before did we talk about that, Christi?
Yeah.
In a past life.
In a past life. We're having deja vu.
Yeah.
All over again.
It's all over again.
So is this going to be in Kentucky still, or are they going to have this in Ohio?
No,
it
it's
is
still in
very
Kentucky.
close. Very close to Ohio for those that are not aware.
But I wonder if you'd run into some different laws, though.
That's what I was curious about.
I don't know if you could really put a rick house in downtown Cincinnati.
I mean,
I don't think they look too fondly on that. Just kind of like doing it in downtown Lexington.
Yeah.
True.
Well, that's, it's funny because I think there is a Cincinnati distilling. I swear that
They probably don't have that many barrels there.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think they're under construction.
There is a Cincinnati distilling.
I don't know that they're completed yet, but I think it's under construction, or it was.
I know that they have beverages. They have spirits available.
They have beverages.
But I don't.
Is that the place that's like downtown and it's been closed all during COVID?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think I've passed it once or twice, and I was really upset.
What the name of that one is?
Yeah, but there's these guys that they're building a whole new distillery. I thought it was called Cincinnati. I'll have to check on that one.
Yeah, to be determined.
But they're in Cincinnati, like downtown, apparently. But now I don't know if they're going to rick house stuff down there. If they're going to, they're going to put barrels there. If they're going to move them out or what. But
you know more information on this. So you want to talk about that?
I do. On this handy dandy note sheet that I prepared, New Riff is actually doing a $2 million expansion that will allow them to increase production by 50%. Now, my notes say 8,000 to 12,000 barrels.
Oh yeah, we needed to
investigate.
Fact check.
In Deja Vu, in our prior life, we talked about that, and we were going to fact check that, and that did not happen.
Way to go, guys.
Today.
You had one job.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Production's going to increase 50%. Let's just leave it at that. Right?
And they're taking production up 2 additional days.
That's right. So instead of just doing 4 days a week, they will actually be doing production 6 days a week because they're adding 3 new fermenters that will allow them to.
So wouldn't that also increase jobs?
Yes, it will. Now, I'm not sure what the capacity is going to be or how many more jobs that will add.
Right.
But I have a feeling that will add jobs.
At least one or so.
Yeah. But like you said, I mean, they are located in the parking lot of the Party Source in Newport, right? I
mean, that's also a really good tourist attraction.
Well, sure. Yeah. Because the Party Source is a huge store.
One of the best
places
ever.
Yeah. Jay and his part, I can't remember what's the other guy's name that started it with, that owned the Party Source that Jay worked for before they started New Riff. Anyway, they were like one of the first stores that really did single barrel picks, and they've been doing them for years and years and years, but then they decided to do their own thing. But
look, they're kind of like a mecca too.
Oh yeah.
So when people are coming in from out of town that are familiar with Northern Kentucky, they head straight to Party Source as soon as they get off the plane.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And then there's New Riff with their aquifer or with their well that's
in the parking lot.
In the parking lot. Isn't that crazy?
It is pretty cool. And if you haven't done a tour there, they blatantly point that out like one of the first things, like, check this out.
There's a
We've got
manhole
this
cover
right here in our parking lot.
Yeah, the old parking lot aquifer.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, that's a good one.
That wasn't in the notes.
It wasn't in the notes. See, that's why
was
Matt is very, very good at that. What he does. He's the color commentary guy. All right, so let's talk about this Michter a little bit more in terms of the palate and the finish. We'll go backwards now. Christi, what about you?
So the one thing that stands out to me, it's a lot on the palate. It's the body of it. So it's got that little bit of that effervescence. And I'm not just saying that because it came up my nose, although I did especially feel it then. But after that, it gets a little bit creamy, but it's mostly that like kind of like more foamy. Really nice effervescence on it.
Gotcha. What about the flavor wise? What do you get?
I mean, again, it's carrying over some of those herbal notes. There's a little tiny bit of like a lemon zest on there.
Okay.
You're definitely getting some sort of citrus oil.
Gotcha. Matt, what about you, man? You're looking deep in thought over there. You're like,
I think get a lot of the herbal notes with this one.
Uh-huh.
I get a lot of peppermint.
Okay.
And kind of like that really cool kind of like burn your tongue kind of menthol type peppermint.
Yeah.
Like I think the heat on this plays that way more than it does peppercorn, more than cinnamon, more than like some sort of an earthen like jalapeno or
Gotcha.
some sort of heat that way. Just really minty.
Yeah.
With it.
I think that menthol is a good way of describing that. Because you do have that cooling sensation on the finish.
Yeah.
And this is chill filtered. So Michter's does chill filter their stuff, which is kind of rare. Well, not rare, but most people these days, everybody's saying,
Non-chill.
"Oh, we're non-chill filtered." They're putting it on their stickers and their labels, and everybody wants to know, is that non-chill filtered? So it's kind of like the buzzword to kind of guess like toasted, right?
Right.
It's toasted.
It's not quite at the level of toasted, but I think it's going to catch up.
Yeah, non-chill filtered. But Michter's, all their stuff is chill filtered. So they say it doesn't affect the flavor profile. It just strips out a few things that they feel need to be taken out. So.
They actually go out of their way to talk about that on the tour.
Oh, do they really? See, I've not done the tour, so.
Yep.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. And it's kind of funny because it's like the movement now is so anti, chill filtration. Everybody wants to talk about non-chill filtration.
Probably because they don't understand it.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. So, all right, Stacey, what about you? What do you pick up palate-wise,
I'm
finish-wise?
also going to agree with Matt about the mintiness of it, because like with a lot of ryes, you get like that real heavy like cinnamon, all of that hits you on the palate. But this is real nice and tingly.
Tingly.
Coats the tongue.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. I really, really enjoy the finish on this.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of ryes. I also really enjoy when a rye is nice and like mentholy like this one.
Yeah. When it's nice and smooth.
Yeah, you nailed it.
It's yummo. I'm just going to tell you. This rye is yum.
I'm out. Play my exit music.
See you later, Stacey. Thanks for playing. Yeah, it's yummo. I like it. So, but speaking of expansions, Bardstown Bourbon is actually expanding as well.
Yeah.
And that's quite a little bit larger expansion, 28.7 million.
Just slightly larger.
Like 14 times larger, right? But, look where they are versus where, New Riff is, kind of
got a lot more
locked in.
Surface area.
Yes, they do. Yeah, no question about it. And every time you drive down the parkway there, the Bluegrass Parkway, it's like, Jesus, what are they building now? There's always something going on at Bardstown in terms of construction. So it's going to increase their capacity by 55,000 barrels, 15,000 square foot expansion, 16 new fermenters, and a new column. And they've also purchased 300 more acres to build even more rick houses.
I love it. Now, I'm kind of curious, where some of that's going to be dispersed. How much is going towards their own stuff and how much is going towards the contract distilling they do.
Right.
Because they have so many contract partners.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm also curious too. They do have a lot of land out there, but like, where's
this
this property
land?
actually going to be?
Is it contiguous? I just wonder if it's contiguous across the street, across the parkway. Because the way if you look at the rick houses, they built down the parkway and it like got to a point where it's kind of like stopped. So I don't know if they're going to have to go backwards now, away from the parkway, or where that expansion is gonna happen. But Matt, Christi had a great point though about that contract distilling, right?
Yeah.
In a previous life, right?
Yes, in a previous life.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like Bardstown's trying to become fill the role of MGP here in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's a good point, Matt.
At least it's what it seems like they're setting up to do, and I think that's a great move.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too. I think they're killing it. These guys have come out from, 2017, 2016, maybe? 15.
15, I think.
It was 15.
Yeah, it's not that long ago.
Yeah, but still, 7 years, and they're where they are.
Well, they
they're
were
rocking
recently purchased as well, right?
Yeah.
By a new company.
That's right.
And I feel like that role really does exist in Kentucky to have an MGP type partner here, especially if you've heard some of the rumors going around. I don't know how much truth there is to them.
What rumors would that be, Christi?
There's some rumors about MGP possibly scaling back some of those barrels that are, going out to everybody else, everyone who wants to be a brand,
Right.
and going more towards their own product. So kind of curious to see, how much truth there is in that and what the timeline looks like on that. So it sounds like it could be pretty imminent, especially since they've had those changes, a little restructuring in the company.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
And I'd be excited to see it. I want more Remus.
Yeah.
Oh.
More Remus. Yeah. More Rossville Union.
And I think it's kind of going like you have to come and grab your identity.
Sure.
And I feel, maybe they have lost a little bit of their identity with being that person that supplies the market.
Sure. Yeah. Because everybody, not everybody, but prior to 2 or 3 years ago, everybody that wanted to buy barrels, you pretty much went to MGP, right?
Yeah.
For the most part. But yeah, so we had them on the show last year before. And we tasted through their Remus and their Rossville Union. What was the other one, Matt?
We had 8 and Sand.
8 and Sand. I cannot remember.
I haven't ever had that.
I haven't heard that either. Do you have it?
Do you have it, Matt? Or
I think I got the bottle, and
I think Matt took the
I don't think it's around anymore.
Oh, so it was good.
Funny how that happens.
It's good.
We do have another bottle to try, though.
Yeah.
Do we want to do this Ragtime Rye?
We can probably do that in the next round because we're almost at the end of round 2 here. So we can save it. Is that okay if we save that one?
Yeah, we can save it.
Yeah.
I can wait a minute
You
or two
didn't
before
have
my
that in
next
the
sip.
notes.
It wasn't in your notes.
I had something and something. Did you not read the notes? It says something and something because I had no idea what we were going to drink tonight. No idea. So it was just something.
Oh, I see it now. I'm like,
You
what
see
are
at
you
the
talking
very
about?
top.
Yes.
There's a format to my notes even, okay?
I'm
So,
sorry, Mark.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Clearly, I've noticed your notes, but I guess I haven't
Have
paid
you
too
not-
much attention to the format.
Yeah,
so
have you not figured out we're too cool for school?
You guys are all just, I'm just an old guy. That
No, you're
has
not. I just have to do this all day
structure.
with work. So
Okay.
I try to, when I'm here for fun.
I got it.
I
You're not
don't-
going to play
I
by the
don't
rules.
want your damn structure, Mark.
No, we are kind of old in this though. Like we have to take breaks so you can get up and go to the bathroom and stuff. The Angels, they just roll straight through. They're like, they
we
pour
take-
them up, knock them down, get it going. Like
That's right.
We
Mark's
take
got to
breaks.
empty his bladder every now and then and get up and stretch. I have to do whatever it is I do in front of the fireplace. We have to take breaks during our show.
It's because we have sponsors and we need to get their spots in there. So that's why we take.
That's okay.
That's
It's
why we
okay.
take breaks.
We like them
Matt.
too.
So
I just thought it because we were old.
it is because we're old.
We can't hang.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know what? I like to take a break every 25 minutes. And speaking of breaks,
You guys are pissing me off. It's time for a break.
we've got
time for a word from our
Speaking of
sponsors.
pissing off, it's about that time to take a little quick break and get a word from our sponsors. So, what do you guys think? Final thoughts on this Michter's 2022 release of this barrel strength rye? What do you think?
Dare I say it's tasty?
Yeah, Matt.
Sorry, Matt.
I think it's really good. It's unfortunate to hear that I believe the price may have gone up.
It's 100,
Oh, is that true?
Retails $100 on this one.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. I think
Yep.
it's allocated enough that if I see it at $100, I can't say no. But
Yeah.
if this were more readily available,
Yeah.
probably still a yes. But
Yep.
It makes you think about it
yeah,
twice
yeah,
for sure.
At least.
Yeah. But compared to the Peerless that we had first round, that was 125. I'm still probably going to take this Michter's at 100. That's just
I get it.
I'm not saying it's bad because I really like, you've introduced me to 2 different Peerlesses now, bourbon and a rye, and I've really enjoyed them both. So, but yeah, the price has gone up a little bit on this one. So Christi, what are your final thoughts on this rye?
I like it a lot. I could see this being something I would have on a regular basis.
Yeah, definitely. If I could find it, I would drink this rye pretty much all the time. And I've actually used not this release, but the 2020, maybe one of the releases in a old fashioned, just because that rye,
Nice.
it
I could see that popping.
it really does. So
That would be really hard for me to mix this with anything because
I know.
it's really good.
I got blasted on Instagram when I posted the picture. We were like, "What?"
I was at my friend JC's house and he pulled out Kentucky Owl. Yeah, and we made old fashions with Kentucky Owl.
Wow.
It's not a cheap bottle.
No, it's not. Not at all. Well, guys, I say we take a quick break. Get a word from our sponsors,
And pick out some alcohol.
and we'll be back in just a minute.
Three Chords line of whiskeys embody the spirit of creativity. The whiskey is a true collaboration between producer and composer Neil Giraldo and master blender distiller Ari Sussman. The Three Chord team of expert blenders, coopers, and sensory professionals have developed a multi-step process they call Perfectly Tuned Taste. This process begins by carefully selecting the finest bourbon and rye whiskeys from Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana, and then blending them together. Find out more about the whiskeys and distribution in your area at www.threechordbourbon.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back for the third and final round of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me tonight, live in the Bourbon Life Studios, it's the Ragtime Bourbon Life Crew. It is Christi, Matt, and Stacey.
Man, I get that two segments in a row.
Well, yeah, because you're here with us now, so we're celebrating the Staciness of the show.
Well, Christi, we need to add that as a permanent part of our show.
We should. See, I'm over here laughing because I just watched you just tip your head back and toss your drink in your mouth.
Yeah, we took a halftime pour, or you guys took a halftime pour, so you had to finish that pour so you could move on.
Well, we had time because you had to make your bathroom breaks.
Oh my gosh! All right, now
and you had to ride a stair lift upstairs.
Man, oh,
just kidding, Mark. I digress.
Anyway, goodness gracious. Can we move on with the show, please? What are we drinking this round? Somebody tell me. Matt, tell me what you're drinking. We're drinking.
I'll tell you what I'm drinking.
What are you drinking?
I don't know what you have poured up.
I'm just going to go upstairs and have some Geritol and go on to bed. You guys just
Take
do your show.
Osteo-Biflex.
That's exactly right.
Warm
man.
glass of milk.
I got my New Balance. I got my New Balance shoes on, and I'm just gonna ride the stair lift or the chair lift up to the
You got your
first
boost.
floor. Yeah,
Drink some more boost.
get my Ensure, take my Metamucil,
Yeah, don't forget to take your teeth out.
and Geritol. Matt, what are you drinking, man?
All right. We have got poured up Ragtime Rye. This is the New York straight rye whiskey, and we had Alan Katz on the show season 2, I believe it was.
Yep.
Man, was I impressed with everything that he brought. A company that does all rye, only rye, all the rye in time.
Oh,
It was great to have that conversation with him. And this one is special because this is a single barrel. This is a seal box pick coming in at 112 proof, and this is 7 years old. So the mash bill on these, this is an Empire Rye. So that is 72% corn, 72% rye, 16% corn, 12% barley. And that is not specific to Empire Ryes when they say Empire Rye. It's just a recipe that usually is in the 70 to 85-ish or so percent rye.
Yep.
Kind of more stereotypical of some of the East Coast ryes, the Pennsylvanias, the New Yorks, a little bit Maryland somewhere in there. It just kind of falls under this name of Empire Rye.
Now, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't that mean also, isn't there's like some state legislation in New York that defines an Empire Rye or not? Did I make that up?
It's more of a project, actually.
Is it?
I think it started at Kings County Distillery.
Okay, so it's maybe just a collection of distillers.
Yeah, so they kind of set a standard of what they were going for.
Okay. So,
And they're trying to recruit all these distilleries in New York to be a part of that.
oh, okay. All right. Well, see, I was wrong. So, but that's good to know. Thanks for
Kings
correcting.
County. If you know, you know about Kings County.
Oh,
Colin?
Yeah.
all right, kids. So,
So, Mark, what are you picking up on the nose on this?
oh, you can't do that to me.
Yes, I can.
Gotcha.
Yes, I can.
It's yummo. It's delicious. What? It's spicy.
It's smooth.
It's
Caramel,
it's
vanilla.
smooth. I get some vanilla.
Oak.
I get some oak on it. I do get oak on this actually. A woodsy aroma to it. But you said it's how old, Matt? 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
Got a really nice color to it as well.
It does have a really
Yeah.
nice color.
Definitely. A little citrus on there. But to me, it's like I almost get like an orange citrus type of aroma on it. That's coming across. All right, guys. So what about you all? Now that I've done my paltry old man summary, can one of you young whippersnappers step in and relieve me? Anybody?
I like the orange
Okay.
zest that you have coming through there. It's got some citrus, some orange peel, a little bit of citrus peel. Actually, I think the woodsy was a nice descriptor as well. It
Damn.
has,
Look at you go,
Look at
Mark.
you. You guys are trying to put me on the spot, and
It is woodsy.
yeah, it's not just like oak, but it has kind of like like a little forest floor
Yeah.
type aroma to like a real natural kind of smell.
Like earthiness to it.
Nice.
So do you guys remember the orange push-up pops?
Uh-huh.
That's what it smells like on the nose, almost like that sherbety type thing.
Oh, yeah. Funny.
like
you
the
said that.
Flintstone push pops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it smells like that to me.
Yeah, I can see that for sure now. It's funny you say that, but yep, I get that.
I did get a little bit of that woodsy though that you were saying in the beginning until it opened up a little bit, and then I had to kind of refresh my nose over here.
Gotcha.
And then that's when I got that orange.
the orange. I mean, and you guys don't have to agree with me
No, it's
just
there.
because I do the
I was
notes.
going to say, if we're calling you old, we're not going to agree
was
with
gonna
you
say.
Yeah.
on your taste.
That's,
notes.
you know, I was going to say, I miss Chad. I really wish
Do
Chad.
you need some Afrin for your nose?
I need Chad here so he could take the abuse because when Chad's here, he's the one that gets
He's such
picked
an
on.
easy target.
He is. And
He
I
sets himself up for a lot of it, though.
He really does. And Chad, we miss you. So I really, really, really wish you were
I was
here.
going to say, Mark really misses you.
Oh man, but yeah, I do really like this one. So
Yeah, it's opening up more some sweetness. I'm picking up like some nougat with it as well. Is coming through like nougat or toasted sugar.
yeah,
The more it
toasted sugar.
sits in there a little longer.
Do you get a little bit of that anise on there? Think of like an anise
These
candy.
two.
I could see, yeah.
I got it in the beginning too, and it's coming back again.
Stacey, I get a lot of yummo off of this one.
Mark, I'm going to smack you.
What do you get?
Stop. I will agree with Matt that it is opening up with some sweetness to it, but it's like undertones of sweetness. It's not like it's completely transformed into something overly sweet.
I think with the anise, I'm picking up like root beer.
Yeah. I could
see
definitely see that.
Oh, sassafras.
Yeah,
Yep. Sassy free.
I'm not there yet, but I'll let it sit for a few moments and see where we get. So, what other fun topics can we talk about tonight? Oh wait, look, there's a whole list of notes here in front of us.
Well, Mark, since you asked,
Is there anything on there that you find to be interesting?
we do have Derby coming up.
We do have Derby.
Number 149.
Is that what it is?
Yeehaw.
I've never been to a Derby,
I haven't either.
and I've lived in Kentucky all my life.
Same.
I don't
Really?
go to Churchill Downs. I go to Keeneland for Derby.
Do you? That's what a lot of people do that. I know. So
I haven't figured out my plans this year. We'll
Gotcha.
see.
Yeah. Have you? Well, Matt, you've gone.
I've been 4 times.
Oh, well. He's been
Nice.
enough for all of us.
He goes to Millionaires Row, and
Yeah.
I'm sure, like him and
They
Kid
invite
Rock,
me to the Derby, yeah.
him and Kid Rock, and
He pretty much puts on the Derby.
you're part of the
So-
Bourbon Life Podcast crew, Matt. Of course, you're going to be invited. You and all your friends.
It's a good time. Once or twice. I don't think I would care to go back. The Oaks is super fun.
Did you go infield for it?
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when I was in college, a lot of people used to do that, and I just thought, well, I bartended, and I was in a band, so it was like I was always either bartending or playing.
You were in a band?
I was in a band.
What
Yeah.
kind of
Did you
band?
not see all of his
College.
bases?
Oh, that's right. I did see all his bass in there. I forgot about that.
All about that bass.
All
you ever
about
do-
the bass.
Did you ever do punk?
No, but we did 80s alternative rock.
Okay.
So REM kind of stuff, The Cure,
I like
the
The Cure.
Alarm, yeah. So anyway, so I was always working. So in college, I never got to go just because I always had to either bartend or I was playing somewhere out in the band, right? So, but then I always said, if I'm going to go, I want to go like fancy. And unfortunately, I've not managed to reach the level of means to be able to do that because I just going to the infield just has no appeal to me at this point.
If you're going to go, you got to at least do the infield one time.
You think so?
Yeah.
No,
I've seen it on like the hottest of hot days. I've seen it in wet weather where it's a slop. I mean, it's a slop
That's
fest
it's usually
regardless, but
well,
I was gonna say,
definitely
yeah.
a slop fest
God,
regardless.
yeah, no.
That's why I was going to say the last time I went to Keeneland, which was pre-COVID, I think that might be my last time hanging out at Keeneland unless I'm in like a box or something
seriously?
because it was horrible. Like people passed out everywhere.
Wow.
It was sloppy.
Was that me?
See, I don't go out to the field. I always go, in and, have a good time inside.
We didn't make it into the.
Oh,
track.
no, I did. But I mean, people, I have never seen so many grown women just like barfing
Oh, really?
everywhere. It
This
was
is at
horrible.
Keeneland?
I
At
didn't
Keeneland.
do that.
Wow, I've never
Horrible.
seen that.
You're
at
also
Keeneland.
not a grown woman, so.
Oh, we celebrated Matt's birthday out there a couple years ago.
Yep. We had a great time on the grounds.
Oh my
Don't
God.
know, didn't make it into the track that day, but that's all right.
We tailgated from 12:30 until
Nice.
6 o'clock, something. We did not make it inside.
Who was pouring for you that day, Matt? Was it?
Yeah, we need to do
Mark pouring for you.
Bourbon Life Crew birthday party with Matt.
We definitely have to do that.
I think I actually was the one with the most sound judgment out of all of us that day. It was Mark that kind of put a licking on himself.
And I was fine. And then all of a sudden I was standing up and I could feel myself.
Oh, you were a weeble wobble.
Because I hadn't eaten a lot that day.
Mistake number one.
It really was. Yeah. And Matt brought some great stuff.
We both did.
I
Weather was gorgeous.
It was awesome. Yeah. Because your birthday's in October.
It is.
Yeah. So it was a beautiful October day at Keeneland. You can't beat that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're like, we're going to go tailgate for a little while, have some food, then we'll go in, watch some of the races. We start drinking and and we're like, okay, we'll go in. We can always make it. Because post time's usually a little after 1 o'clock or something, right? So we're like, yeah, we can make it. We can catch the third, fourth race. And then like 3 o'clock rolls around and we're like,
Aw.
man, we're still having a good time. So, yeah, we ended up just hanging out in the parking lot.
I love the races.
Yeah, I do too. When I get to see them. But I didn't pass out. I did not fall down.
I mean, it was rough.
Yeah, I get
And
it.
I had some drinks that day, but if I am noticing all of that, when I'm having a good time, like that's pretty bad.
Yeah, there's a problem.
There is a problem. So yeah, it might take me some convincing to go back to Keeneland.
The times I've gone, I haven't seen that. But then, I don't know, I might be going at different times.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Wow, because I hear about that at Churchill Downs. People say it's like one big orgy.
Which is another reason why
Wait,
I'm like,
wait, what? Okay, Matt, so
you want to clarify? Can you confirm?
I cannot confirm that.
is it too late to get a ticket? No. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, speaking of Derby, they're going to have the silver cups for sale for $1,000 and the gold cups for $2,500.
Yeah.
But they're encrusted with rubies.
Rubies, that's right.
Rubies.
Yeah, so you get silver cups with rubies and gold cups.
That's right. I mean, would you guys pay that? I think I already know my answer, but how do you feel about that?
So here's the thing. So that's by Woodford, right? So it's the Woodford Julep Cups. They do it every year. And the money raised actually goes to
the Old Friends Farm.
Which if you're not familiar with that, check it out online.
I've been there. It's great.
It's really cool. They take old retired racehorses.
I've played bluegrass music there, actually.
Have you really? Okay. So they give them a place to live out their lives.
Do you see the horse there that has, I don't know if it's a goat or some other animal in his pen with him?
Oh, seriously? That lives with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently they became friends. They noticed they were always trying to gravitate towards each other. I'm pretty sure it's a goat. And they started slowly acclimating them to each other. And they just took to each other. And they were very upset when they tried to separate them. They became agitated.
funny.
So now they're together in the same pen.
Oh.
But the other horses, they're so aggressive. These thoroughbreds, they're racing each other.
How funny. I've not been out there. I've driven past it. It's up
beautiful.
On 62 up there in Scott County, just outside of Georgetown. It's a beautiful farm.
They also have the horse cemetery there.
Oh, do they really?
So Man of Warren is buried there and a bunch of others.
I did not realize that.
Yeah,
okay.
It's definitely worth checking out. I'm not sure how they're doing tours and stuff now post-COVID, but it's a great place to check out.
So you say, would you pay that? I say no, but I'm thinking,
it does go for a good cause.
You know what? If you had the money, but I think you actually have to pick the cup up at the Derby. So I think you have to prepay.
Oh, so that would be an expensive day for you, Mark.
Yeah.
You'd have to pay for the cup plus
get to Millionaires Row.
But it would look really cool with your rope.
True.
We could just why don't we make him one?
Oh my gosh, we should have a Derby craft day and make our own Woodford cups.
Yes.
We are going to do that. We're going to have them for our next show.
We'll get the plastic silver solo cups and put stickers on them.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this sounds great.
I will not be drinking juleps as much as I love juleps, and Matt loves juleps because
it's my dog's name.
That's his dog's name.
Oh, that's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah. So julep is his dog's name, but you're a big fan of juleps as well, right?
Absolutely. I am.
That's why his dog's name's Julep. So
I'm very surprised by that, actually.
I am too.
Yeah.
I know. I never imagined that Matt would be a mint julep fan, but Matt is a mint julep fan. Yeah.
Why, not that classy?
No.
You don't drink it out of a boot or something?
No. When I think of you, Matt, I think, it's like when we go to Liquor Barn and hang out or whatever, you're drinking neat bourbon, you're drinking neat rye. We don't make a lot of cocktails together at all. We don't talk about cocktails. And when I think of mint juleps, that's one of the most
Sugary, yeah.
mixed up drinks in the world.
Is there a sentiment behind it?
So
I just really love fresh mint.
there you go.
I think they're excellent.
It's not a criticism.
No,
it's
I'm
just
curious
just was
why.
very
it's one of those little.
surprised.
It's part of the mystique of Matt.
There you
know?
go.
The Matt Mystique.
yeah,
That's a good
so-
band name.
There you go. The Matt Mystique. We're gonna put the band back together and we're gonna start jamming on Monday nights. Not only we're gonna do a
Encrusted
podcast,
Monday Matt Mystiques.
we're gonna take a break and we're gonna jam session after I go to the bathroom.
I'll bring my banjo.
There you go. We got it figured out.
I always thought a good band name for us would be Big Ruck and the Small Batch Selectors.
Oh my God, I love that.
We should make T-shirts. Big Ruck.
We should.
I love it.
Oh man, that's funny. That was my brother's nickname actually in high school. Big Ruck. And I
We're
was-
just the ruckus.
and I was little Ruck, the ruckus.
Bring in the ruckus.
Bring in the
That's
ruckus.
funny. So back to the Derby.
Oh my gosh. So this year, the flavor profiles that they have selected are all ingredients that can be found on the grounds at the Palace of Versailles, actually.
Really?
Yes. So they went with pomegranate, orange, and lemon for this year's julep.
And the bones of your enemies. that have been
Yes.
ground into the
Well, that it's rimmed in the bone of your enemies. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it is. And you have to go to the Derby to pick it up. I think you prepay for the cups, but you have to actually be at the Derby to claim your julep.
Yep.
So
It's funny that we've been talking about juleps because this is something that Christi and I are going to discuss on one of our upcoming episodes.
Really?
Yeah, but we're going to do alternative.
it's going to be the anti-julep.
It's going to be an alternative Derby party.
Yeah. Because
Alternative julep.
I really tired of seeing all the derby drinks and they bore me.
Gotcha.
So
No offense, Matt.
no offense, Matt.
Oh no, I'm very curious now
But
to
like
hear
even
about
like the lily,
alternative
yeah, like the lily and all that. Like it just, I don't know.
Derby drinks.
I understand tradition, but I want to mix it up. And
Sure.
Stacey and I are kind of on the same for that.
So we've got something really interesting coming down the pike with
A
that.
few things interesting.
So stay tuned.
Oh yeah, I hope we record that one live here.
Oh,
We are going to.
We will.
We're bringing treats.
Awesome.
We are mixing up.
Then I'll be here.
Yes.
Obviously,
I'm even
it's
gonna
my
cook,
house.
I'm even gonna cook food.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna pair our cocktail with our food.
All right. Well, that sounds great. That'll be a lot of fun. We don't have any big plans for our Derby show. We don't really have a Derby show. We just have a show that's coming out close to Derby.
Their show sounds
I know.
more exciting than ours.
You're welcome to come
Screw the
by.
Bourbon
Yeah,
Life.
Your shows.
All
I know.
about
It's
the
like,
Angels share. They actually do
they do fun
good
stuff.
sounding stuff.
Hey,
They
we're
have
young
food.
whippersnappers, all right?
They just did a show on,
We didn't-
on budget bourbons and what's
Yeah,
the best budget
yeah.
bourbons and blinded each other. You guys did like, what, 7 different bottles?
Yeah.
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 You didn't drink with us.
I did not. I was actually working.
He looked really upset though. He was so upset that he went in the other room so that he wasn't tempted.
I was like, it was not the best of days
It
at work.
happens. It happens.
Yeah. But you all were having fun and that's what counts. So,
We did.
We did.
but that's a great show. So let's talk about something else. And this is,
So
go ahead.
there was one, we're talking about like good pours that you and I have had. So recently we were having some old fits together.
What year?
Fantastic. Oh God, what year
The
was it?
17-year-old.
Yes, it was.
It was
Oh,
last-
you had the 17, huh?
so.
It was the
so
fall.
good.
It was the
Oh,
fall.
was that-
Wait, no. Is
was-
it the 16 or 17?
I think it was that's a good question now.
No, I can't remember.
I was gonna say I'm gonna be pissed if it was a 17 that you guys drank without
I
me
mean,
because I
we
haven't
can
had that one
verify.
yet. Because
It's upstairs.
I
I'll
have a
have to check.
16 at my house.
Is the 16 the red one?
Yes.
Okay, then that's it's the
17's green.
No, I don't have the 17. I'm sorry.
I was gonna
It was
say
the 16.
holy
It's really good.
Sorry. It is really good.
The 16 is delicious. Yes.
But Mark heard a rumor about Old Fits.
I did.
What's the rumor?
Somebody sent me a
I hope it's
message
not true.
that they're going to discontinue the decanter releases after this fall.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it's true. I just hope it's not true. I mean,
Yeah.
that bottle is iconic,
Oh, it's gorgeous.
but at the same time, so many brands are feeling the pinch with glass availability. And it's not even like affording it. Can't find
You
it.
can't get it. Right.
Yeah. Like the wait lists are insane right now.
Well, it's not just that way with like spirits bottles, but even like Cokes in a bottle, which is
Yeah.
something that like my mom and my grandparents all freak out over. You can't find that anywhere anymore.
Well, I had heard also that some distilleries are going to shift from glass bottles, not fancy bottles, just glass to back to doing plastic.
I've heard some of that too.
That they're going to be like Beam possibly will go to doing some of their bottling in plastic. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not trying to spread rumors. I'm just saying these are things that I've heard.
We're just discussing.
But it makes sense. I mean, you think, Christi, what you talk about the glass shortage. And Matt, we've had people on the show, guests on the show, that have talked about how hard it is to track down glass right now. And Christi, I mean,
I've run into so many distilleries who have told me that they have changed their whole bottles because they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
They just can't get it.
Yeah. So I don't know. The old Fitz, I'll be really disappointed if they get rid of those decanters, because it's such, like you said, it's such an iconic bottle. It's gorgeous.
Well, even like the brands that have orders way in advance, they're having their orders being canceled on them.
Oh, wow.
With no notice. It's like, we've been waiting for this for 2 years. Sorry.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I did hear, along with that the last release this fall would be a 20-year-old.
Oh.
So they just put out that 17-year-old, right? That looked a lot like the 27-year-old that they came out with a couple of years ago, the pre-fire.
Oh, yeah.
So they came out with that 17-year-old. I was going to go down, but I didn't quite make it down to Heaven Hill to pick up that bottle.
It happened.
But I think it was like $450. So
damn.
Next camping trip, we'll go get it.
Next camping trip. I'm curious to see if they really do put out a 20-year bottled in bond. I'm curious to see what the pricing would be on that one. So
maybe we can just start like releasing handles of whiskey in boxes, like Franzia.
like the wine.
Yeah, like bagged wine.
And they'll have a tap on it too.
Yeah.
I'm 100% here for this.
But no, wait, in there's one that does the,
Shouldn't that happen?
it looks like a little kerosene can or whatever, right?
Yeah,
It's
who
the
is
metal,
that does that?
Stillhouse? Is it called Stillhouse?
Yeah, it's Stillhouse.
It's metal.
Still House.
That's right.
The metal cans, and it's got the handle, the metal handle on
It's
top
pretty
of
cool.
it, like a old.
The bottle's cool. I'm not a fan of what's inside of it.
Okay.
Well,
But-
that premise behind it, I can
So we
get
could just
behind.
let's do metal containers, right? And just not even worry about it. Or plastic boxes, Matt.
Yeah, bagged bourbon.
slap the
And
bag.
it has that little
Yeah,
plastic
absolutely.
dispenser on it, like a
How
Be
else you
sun
can-
bags.
You don't even have to worry about. It's like Capri Suns for
Yeah.
Adults.
yeah.
And you've got the cardboard exterior to prevent sunlight from penetrating
There you
said
go.
bag. So
your the whiskey would probably eat through that plastic bag though at some point, I would assume, with the high
Probably.
proof.
maybe you could market small bags. Hear me out.
Hear her out. Stacey's got it.
This is a 2-day portion.
You're up, Stacey. What are you thinking? Anyway.
I mean, I think that there's something to it. I'm interested to see what happens with this glass shortage. Like you mentioned, a bunch of people switching back over to plastic. I'm just curious who's going to do it, because some iconic brands are not going to let go of that.
Yeah.
But it's like, at what cost are they willing to?
Well, you put so much money into your marketing dollars, and bottle design is a huge part of it. There are entire corporations out there. The only thing they do is bottle design for the beverage industry.
Sure. So, how long do you hold on?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, how much revenue are you willing to lose on waiting for said glass to?
But then are we going to feel it?
Dun, dun, dun. I don't have that sound effect.
I don't know, but
myself.
I'm really curious to see how that's all going to play out.
Yeah, if that will affect the consumer, which, I mean,
I think
somehow-
the consumer's always getting effed, but you know.
Speaking of that, let's
Let's go back to this
let's go
orgy
back to
discussion.
Let's go back to that orgy at the Derby. Can we talk about that a little
Oh my
more?
God.
Anyway, let's talk about this Ragtime Rye, Matt.
Yes, let's.
Let's talk about the palate. I'm going to throw it back to you since you threw it to me on the nose.
Sure deal. Nice and spicy up front. Good amount of that rye peppercorn coming through. I get like a little bit of corn tortilla, I think, from the corn on it. Kind of like a toasty corn-ish coming through. That 16% in the Empire Rye in this one. The corn makes more of an appearance. But then it has some more of those rye characteristics. There's some herbs. There's a little bit of mint coming through, some spice, a little bit of honey, like sweetness coming down the line on the end of it as well. Really, really enjoyable.
Nice.
I think it's funny you said corn tortilla, because when I first started sipping on it, it reminded me of corn pudding a little bit. I got a little bit of that, like the sweetness that comes from corn pudding, but that mintiness also comes through on it, which thinking about those two flavors together sounds gross, but this is really, really good. I really enjoy this.
Yeah. You know, initially for me, it's like, I thought, wow, this finish is really short. And then I don't know what happened. A couple of drinks later, it's like, oh, wait, no, it's not, but initially I was kind of underwhelmed. I don't know if it's because we just had that Michter's, but then this really, it just opened up really nice on the palate. Had a really nice finish to it. So
Yeah,
really,
it's pretty thick actually. I mean, not really viscous necessarily, but it's a lot thicker than I was expecting based off the nose.
yeah.
But I'll agree with what everyone was saying about like the corn and like the herbal nature of it. That carries over. It really is very corn forward.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to say it's reminiscent of a bourbon because I mean, it's not to that point, but there's that corn aspect to it. But yeah, it's really good. I really enjoy it. I appreciate you bringing this over to let us.
It's really nice.
Yeah, and the color on it is gorgeous. If we haven't talked about that already,
And what'd you say the proof was? It 112?
112.
Okay.
it's really nice, and it gives like not too much burn on the palate, but it just kind of like hangs around.
We should at some point do a show where we bring on a bunch of the different distilleries doing Empire Rye because they're all so different from each other.
Yeah.
Even though, they're working with similar characteristics.
Right.
It'd be interesting to, have some samples from all of those and do a little comparison.
Well,
See where they're at.
sounds like the Angel Share is just going to start kicking
say,
everybody's ass.
I mean,
and
like we can reach out to Colin.
the Bourbon Life.
Colin's a
I'm
Kentucky boy.
1,000% down for that idea. I'm putting that in our Google Doc after this.
There you go.
Sorry, Mark.
That's quite all right.
I'm going to be a fly on the wall for that one.
Absolutely.
You're welcome to attend with us.
Matt's going to earn his wings.
You're going to
now.
earn your wings too.
That sounds like the best time possible to do it.
But then you got to get the tat on the back.
Oh
too.
yeah, we're getting matching angel wing
The
tattoos.
wings. Yeah.
Wait, I have to get another one?
Yeah.
Another set of angel?
Not claw marks, Matt. Angel wings, dude. Come on.
Not tramp stamp. Like we're going full back tat. Yep.
Oh man. All right, guys. We've actually reached the end of round 3 here, which means we've reached the end of the show. Wow.
Aww.
I know. Crazy. Wah, wah, wah. I'm not going to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Matt. So final thoughts before we wrap it up. Final thoughts on the Ragtime Rye.
I really enjoyed it.
That one's intriguing.
Different than a lot of other ryes that I've had before.
I'm gonna interpret Matt's head shake as a yes. He thought it was yummo. So.
If you've ever had tea berry ice cream before, it's kind of a Pennsylvania thing.
I've had tea berry gum.
Okay, yeah.
Never had
So
that.
think of that flavor.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of what I'm getting off of this.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Interesting. The 3 ryes that we've had tonight have been kind of differently the same. I can draw a lot of similarities, but each one has definitely stood on its own.
Unique. Yeah. Definitely. So final thoughts, guys, before we wrap it up. Send it home. Stacey, I'm looking at you.
That's
Christi.
that's Christy.
I know. He's like, can't remember
no,
my
you're
name.
not.
My dad can't remember my name.
Christy, I'm just going to take a break and go upstairs in the chairlift.
Well, final thoughts.
Christy, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I'm really excited about what's going on with New Riff and Bardstown right now. I am not buying a Woodford Reserve julep cup, but I'm happy to make you one. I will bedazzle that for
please.
you.
I want a bedazzled julep.
I really
Yes.
think we do need to do that for our show.
Yeah, and I'm concerned about old fits if they're going to do that, but I wouldn't be too surprised. But I'm hoping if it does happen, maybe it'll be a temporary thing.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Matt, final thoughts, man.
This has been a great show.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. It feels like it's gone on for days, almost in a good way.
At least
Because
24
Chad's
hours.
not here.
At least because Chad and Philip aren't here. That's right. They missed out, suckers. No, it's been a really good show. It's been a lot of fun. Stacey, glad you made it for round 2 and round 3.
Yeah,
So
thanks for having me. It's
final
been fun.
thoughts from you on the
Final
show.
thoughts. I'm also super excited about New Riff and Bardstown's expansions just because I love those 2 distilleries. Always interested to see what they've got coming down the pike. I also will not be purchasing a Woodford glass julep cup this year, but I will
Make
bedazzle
your
my own.
There you go.
And we will be doing that and posting pictures.
I cannot wait.
Also, the old fits and continuing our bottle discussion earlier, I'm just really interested to see how that plays out down the line.
Yep. And by the way, there goes Mrs. Bourbon Life back up the stairs. Bye, Mrs.
She's
Bourbon
not using
Life.
the chairlift though. She's
not-
using
she
her
can-
very
she
able
can-
legs.
I know she can still walk. She's yeah.
We have to bring
very
Anita on our
able
show
way.
soon. We keep saying we're going to do it. We haven't done it yet.
Angel, she's getting her angel wings too.
I know everybody's going to be everybody wants to be on your show. Nobody wants to be on the Bourbon Life.
A lot of people don't realize, like, your wife loves whiskey just as much as you do.
Oh, she does. And she's actually the reason I started drinking bourbon
There you
because she drank it first. She was a fan
go. She didn't drive you to drink.
of No, not at all. But she loved Eagle Rare and she loved Woodford Reserve. So she actually drank bourbon before I was drinking bourbon on a regular basis. So kudos to her for starting me down this path and see where I am now, right? Anyway, well, thank you guys for being here tonight. Woo.
He's getting choked up, guys.
It's like I'm just thinking of Philip and Chad, and they're not here. Oh my God. And I just miss them. No,
So much.
I do miss them, but I appreciate you all being here. We're the Ragtag Bourbon Life Crew, but
I still have my robe on.
I know you do. I'm really impressed that you've worn that. That's really cool. We are going to do an entire episode in robes and jammies, so that's going to be a lot of fun at some point. Yes, Stacey, we are, or Christi, whoever you are, whatever your name
I
is.
just get really hot, so yeah, I might sit out. Can you set me up like you put Matt over by the fireplace? Put me outside.
Yeah.
So I get too hot.
We'll phone in.
That'll work. We can Bluetooth you in. No doubt. Well, we do want to thank everybody for listening. We appreciate your support. We also appreciate our sponsors. Thank you all for what you do for us. We cannot do the show without all of your help. So thank you for that. Appreciate all of our listeners, of course, like I said. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. You can DM us on Instagram. You can reach out to us on Facebook. You can also send us an email if you'd like at thebourbonlife@gmail.com. No underscores in our name. Funny how that worked out.
Way to rub that in.
The underscore angels underscore podcast.
Yeah, I think you did that just to be a little jerk.
Just to
make my life harder. But it's fine.
But
it's okay.
Please feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to, please leave us a review on your podcasting platform. We'd really appreciate that. With that said, I'm going to wrap it up. Send us home with our tagline, which is, may your glasses always be full, and may you keep on living the bourbon life.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. Our mission at the Bourbon Life is simple: to share our passion for all things bourbon with you every week. And we'd really love to hear your thoughts on how we're doing. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at The Bourbon Life. You can also contact us by email at thebourbonlife@gmail.com. And you can always find us on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a moment, we'd love it if you would rate us and give us a review. So until next week, we hope your glass is always full and that you keep on living the Bourbon Life.
Whether it's rye, sour mash Tennessee whiskey, or bourbon, Davidson Reserve has something delicious to offer any whiskey lover's palate. Pick up a bottle of one of our award-winning Davidson Reserve whiskeys from your local retailer today. Visit www.davidsonreserve.com for more information. And cheers to drinking local.